Hello guys, welcome to Zip Code, and today we are looking at another type of code. So, pretty sure you're asking yourself, where's the volume, where's the sound, what is going on? No worries. All of this is just to showcase what we are looking at today. So, we are focusing on Ionic, and essentially we want to see how we can create a login, create a registration, or a sign up page, and also a forgot password, and implement those. So in this video we'll be just looking at login and registration, so we can see how this all ties together. So as you can see, the API colon registration failed, but the login worked. Reason for that is I want to implement the register with you because the login has been implemented, and I'm running through that, and you can see how you can do the same in your application. So let's go through it without wasting any of your time. First things first, I want to show you the API we'll be using. It's our very own that was created in Spring Boot. So if you are new to the channel, please do check out our Spring Boot microservices development tutorial where we develop APIs and microservices. So you can see this in real time, and we cover a variety of topics, and we also take you from beginner to expert level with all these tutorials. And without wasting any of your time, let's get to the actual gist of what we're doing. So we have our API which is available, and our API looks like this. So when I log in, I essentially call this API and it gives me back a token that looks like that. So if now I were to log in, I will receive a token response. So this is the token and this is a refresh token. So then I can take this token and go to JWT and validate this token. And as you can see, I do get the subject, and I do get the role, and I do get the issued who issued the actual token, and then the expiry time and the issue time over there. So all the details are there, and everything looks fine. So now, from this, how then do we get our application to log in successfully? Let's get right into it. So go to our Visual Studio Code or UID, your preferred IDE for your development. Then we go to our login page. So first things first, that I want to show you how you can go about to have your login page, just like I have here. So this, the pages are green or they're color coded because I made changes or added new files and they're not committed as yet. So the moment I commit them, they will be white like these ones here, which have not changed, or I have been committed to my Git repository or my version control. So first things first is getting our application, how we can add a page like that. So we want to type in the command ng generate, and let's say page, and we want our page to be in account and to be called let's say authentication, right? So if I hit enter, it is going to create an authentication page inside the account folder. And let me just close this one so that you see when this happens. So let me just click enter, and you will see it come up over there. And what this will do also, it will take the new page as a module, because the page will be in its own module. It will take the module, import it in any other module that is basically required. So this is basically one external module, so we only need it in the root module, which will be app routing, the default module, this one. Then any other module that you would need to have this page, or any component that you want to use from this particular new page that we just created, you would have to import that particular module, and then the components will be available over there. So that is basically how it is, and you can see the root is authentication. So now if we start up our app, let's say Ionic Serve, and we navigate to authentication, you will see that it will take us to this page over here, which is authentication, and it only has a title of authentication. So let's see that in action. Right, quickly, let's see this, and then we will basically get rid of this. I just want to show you how we got to have our login page like that. So then we'll get into the gist of what we are about to get into. So let me just close this and then come back here. Let me just navigate to that and enter. And as you can see, there is authentication over there. Of course, there's nothing else, so it's only showing authentication, and that is fine with us. So let's go back to our default. Then we are back to that, and let's basically delete this because we do not want that to be. Right, so that is deleted, and then we come to app routing, and we just get rid of these routes here, and we save that. So now our project is fine, and now we can continue with what we are here to do. So we have our login page. Let me just also open the TS class. So we have our login page here, and our login page doesn't have a lot. It's basically the container, which is the full screen content over there, and then we have our header. Our header has our app icon, which is basically what we see over here. So this is our icon, and then it has a div, which is a section for the login page. So this has an if condition, and the if checks for our variable screen. If the screen condition is set to sign in, then we see the login fields over here, or the login form, like you can see now. And then we also have the sign up page right here, or the sign up div, as you can see. So we also check the screen. If screen is equal to sign up, then we basically show the sign up form. Let me just do sign up, and then you can see that form appears over there. And then if I do go back to login, let me do forward page, the same thing happens. So all of these are in the same page or same template, as you can see here. So it's just based on the condition here of the screen what we want to display, and therefore this shows you that if you want to have a component um, to be dynamic or be optional, you can basically add an ngIf to that particular component and put your condition over there to say if this variable is true, then display that. If the condition is false, then display that. So this is how you can go about achieving that, having loading components as and when you need them. So that is one way of doing it. And then we then have our final part, which is the footer of the page, which is basically that. And it's basically zip code, which is basically copyright. You can call it that, it can be a copyright and whatever. But yeah, this is just like the footer. You can write whatever you want. Have links that are going to external sites or your particular site. So let's go back to our login and discuss that in detail. So with login, we do have the header here and the slogan. So this is Spring Bank, money flows, and then we have our form, which is our form group login form group. That's the form group that we're using, and we define our form group in our TS class right here. So if we have a look in our TS class, we have our selector, which is app login. Then we have our template, which is the HTML that we're looking at. Then we have our styles, which is the CSS or SCSS that we have. And then we have our class definition over there. And the screen, you can see we define the screen variable right here. And by default, we set it to sign in. And then we have our login form group right here. So the form group has two controllers, username and password, just like that. And this is how you define a form group. Actually, I don't even need that second semicolon. So this is basically our form group that we're using on login. So let's check that out. So anything that we submit in this form will go to those controllers, and then we can get those values and pass them to our API that looks like this. So we're going to pass the values into our API, and then we send that to the back end, and to be able to respond with the details just like that. So as you can see, we have ion item. So the login, the username field here, or username input field, is an ion item, as well as the password is an ion item, and then everything else we sort of handle in a field set. So we have a ion item of username, and we have a field set with a class of input item, and then we do put the legend for it, which is username, or the label, which is username, and then the ion input that we have is form control name is username, the style the type is text, and then the placeholder is username over there. Then we close that input, and then we have our field. And in the same way, we have our field sets over here. Then we have the legend, which is password, which is basically the label. And then we have our input type, which is password, and we have that over there as well. So all the input fields that you see across all these different screens, they basically follow the same logic, the same setup, and we will discuss the others as we go to them. So when I type here YouTuber123 password 1, and when I say login, login will do a submit to our class, and basically call in the API. So let's see our login right here. The forgot password, let me start with forgot password. So forgot password is it has an on click right here, and the on click is listening on change, and on change we are passing forget. So forget will then give us the screen of forgot password just like that, and then login will do the same thing. So also with the sign up, we have an on click listener here which passes sign up, and then it basically changes that screen. So we do have our login button here finally that has our on-click listener that goes to login. So let's check that and see how that looks like, and we basically land to our login page. And in our login page, as I've mentioned, we do have our login form, and then we have our methods over here. So let's start with the constructor, and then you can see the other methods as we go. So on our constructor, we are importing a service, which is an Angular service. The way that you create a service is basically ng generate service. Let's say the services, I put them in common, so common services. So I want this to go to common services, and then let's call this service let's say authorization. just like that, and it will create a service for you that you can use then to call on the back end or perform more business logic behind the scenes, and then you can basically pass the service that logic back to your actual class, and then back to your HTML or templates to the front end. So then now we have a service, and that's how it looks like. And this is just the spec of the service. And this, you don't really need to worry yourself about it. You basically will be working with this class. So the service.ts class, not the spec one. And you will define anything that you need in here and carry on with your business logic. So let's just get rid of this, and then let's just get rid of that. Let's see. Let's get rid of these, and let me do authentication service. Yeah, let me do that one. So the auth service, if we go to it, as you can see here, so this basically, it's the same as that the other service that we just created now. It's a new thing. And then we have our API URL defined here. And if we go to our environment.ts, we have API URL, which is HTTP localhost 8080, which is the same API as this one. As you can see here, the base URL, this is the base URL. And then we have it in our environments.ts, it's defined there. And then we are using that. So our constructor has HTTP client. So HTTP client is an internal module that we use to call to make HTTP calls or web API calls, if I can put it that way. And then we have a router. So our router basically is to redirect the pages, go to a different page, and things like that. So router takes care of the introducing new screens, introducing new tabs, and things like that. So that's what it handles, if you can put it in like a simpler terms. So basically we just need these two, and what we want to do is use a login. This is what we are focusing on, and as you can see, we are passing in, so user login, we are passing in a request, and the request is authentication request. And let's go see the authentication request. Authentication request has a username and string, and in the constructor we just pass in the username and the username and the password, which are both strings. Then the constructor is username and password, and then we just set those like that. So once those are set, we can basically then call in our API, which is HTTP client, and in our HTTP client we want to do or perform a post message or a post method. That's what we want to call, and we pass in our API here, and we say on our API user authenticate, and give it this request which has the username and the password, and basically go and authenticate this user with the backend. That is what we're doing here. And then we say, then give us the response, and we don't know what the response looks like. It can be anything, but because the API calls are sort of generic, that they have time, message status, and data, we are able to say, okay, in this response we know this data, and the data has token, and refresh. That's basically what we have in the API. So we want to say, if the response data to token is not null, which means we do have a token, and the refresh token is not null, let me just say back, and the refresh token is not null as well, we want to put this on our local storage, which is our browser. So in our browser, if we go to application right here, debugger, a Chrome debugger here, and we go to local storage, and let's say login, and you can see these being added. So we have a token and a refresh token. So this is the part where the tokens are being set right here. So if that then return response, that is fine, but we don't really need the response. Once this is set, we don't need the response to be there. We just want to handle the error, and we want to catch the exception here. That's an exception we want to handle here, and we basically console.log service exception, which is that. And let's go to console. Right, let's go back to console. Where is that URL? The API that failed. Let me just do another one. Let me clear the console. Let me go to sign up, and then you can get to see what happened now. Oh, I stopped the application, that's why. So let me just Ionic serve. Let me start it up. So you can see the console will have service exception and will tell you what failed, and that's basically that. So then now what we want to do is go back to our login page right here. So we have that, and we basically on login. So on login, what we do is set the data here. This thing is loading now. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, cool. That did login, and yeah, that's fine. Let's just sign out. Right. So on our login, so basically let's go to our login here. So from the button clicked, so we go to our login. Then in the login we have our request, which is basically the authentication request, and then we set the username and the password just like that. We can set it like this, and we can also set it in a different way. Let me just show you the other way. Let me do new authentication request, and we just do constructor, then we say login from group dot controls dot get controls. Then let's do username here, and let's do dot value, but we want to make sure that that is set fine. Then we want to do password, which is login from group dot get, let's just say password. So we can just say get value, just like that. So these still achieves the same goal. So you can set it like this, or set it in JSON annotation or JSON notation. That is still fine. It basically still achieves the same goal, because this is basically the class, and it does have a constructor, and it expects a username and a password, and you can use it in that way. So now that we have our request, we can basically go to our login form. We just check if the login form is valid. If it's not valid, then we don't want to take in anything, so that will validate the form itself. And let's just say login, so nothing happens there. And what we want to do, we don't want to call an API in an invalid form, so that's why we need to just check if everything is fine. And then we do have this loading, but I haven't implemented this functionality yet. I think, let me actually take this out. Yeah, let me take it out from here. I don't really need it. And then what we do is call in our authentication service. Let me actually rename this. Let's just do rename symbol. Let's say authentication service, just like that. Right. So authentication service, that looks good. And then here, once we validate the form, you say this dot authentication service dot user login, and then we pass in the request, and we say give us the data back as any, but we don't really need the data, so I don't think this will be necessary for us, but we can somewhat just leave that. So there's no data that you expect back, so that is fine. Then we say once that is done, we want to get the token like that. So once you have the token, I needed to do something with the token, but I had to stop here. So once you get the token here, you just want to make sure that you do have the token, and you sort of want to, let me just do a to-do here. So to-do validate token expiry before redirect, right? So here you just get the token, and before you redirect, even though I just added that, I forgot to actually do the check here. Let's just say token is not equals to right. So once we have the token here, we want to make sure that if token is not equal to now, then do the redirect over here. So a to-do would be validate token expiry before redirect. So that's one thing that we need to have here, not to actually just check if the token is there or not. We want to make sure that it is valid before we get to this bit here. So no worries, that looks good, and we basically can come back and test our login here. Let's just do refresh, let's do YouTuber123 password 1, enter login, and then you can see still logs in fine, so we can log out, and that looks good. So we will do a token validation here, and if you also back-end developer or full stack developer, and you are curious how token validation happens in the backend with Spring Boot, please do check out our JWT authentication authorization video. I'll also link I'll put the link in the description down below, so you can see how we actually validate tokens with the back end, and then I'll do a separate video to validate the token in the front end. Just for now, I want you to get the login going and at least have a validation to check that the token is set in your storage. And basically, if you're using cookies, then you can set it as a session ID and use it for that particular session, and then it can expire whenever it expires, and that's basically allowed. Yeah. So we have so now after that we have our route, which we now want to navigate by URL. We want to basically start from the route, and then we want to skip the location change, which is true, then redirect to dashboard, tabs, and tab 1. So tab 1 is where our dashboard is, and we want to say login, it takes us to our dashboard like that. click on the pen, it takes us to a different tab. Now the router taking its part or playing its part over there. So the login is basically all about this, and you got to see how you can achieve it as quick as that. So the other part now that we want to do and actually write the code and see this thing working is the registration. So let's look how the registration API looks like. So registration API, let me just sign out here, sign out, and then let's come to registration. Register API, let's see what we have. We have username, we have password, we have entity number, we have first name, last name, email, mobile number. Right. And I'm pretty sure you are like, why don't you have confirm password here? But we will improve this in the Spring Boot series. But for now, we just take these and use them as they are. So just confirm password is basically check if the password that you put in and the password and confirm are the same thing. If they're not, bomb it. If they're fine, then you can proceed. So we can essentially, let me actually add this right now. So we're gonna add confirm password also here. So let's just say confirm password, right? So this will be confirm password, and we will just, yeah, we'll add the details if you want. So let me just do this right now. So my register controller, even though this is the Ionic part, actually, yeah, let me do it here. I'll do it in the because now it's gonna take up the Ionic tab. No, I don't want to do it here, but we can. So let's go to sign up, fix this. Maybe we'll fix that API at the end of the tutorial. So we're gonna go to login and sign in. We've discussed and we are happy with that. Oh, excuse me. Now we want to do sign up. So on sign up, we do have create account, sign up, get started. Then we have full name, which is basically, let's see, our API has first name, last name, and basically those are the first things that we need to change. So we go to our form group or form, which is register form, and then we need to add a ion item over there. Right, so this will be first name, this will be last name. So we have first name here, which will be first name, and then this will be last name. Right, then the placeholder, we'll just put John, then that will be Doe, and that will be fine. Or instead of John Doe, let's just put first name, and then let's put last name. Right, so first name, and we have last name. So those two fields are now sorted. And let's see what's the other one. We do have email and we do have mobile, which are both text. So email is going to be email, obviously. Let's just go there. Let's take that and put it over there, and we will basically just say let's just say mobile, and the mobile will be also nice if we had if we put like a country drop down. We will get to add that component also as we go, and you get to see it. Let's just say mobile, or let's just do plus 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, let's just do that. That's fine. And check the other fields. So email and mobile are already there. Entity number, let's do entity number is a string also. So let's do entity number just after this. Yeah, after this, we can do entity number. So username. So it's first name, last name, then we're gonna add entity number just here. Entity number, just say entity number, right? So this is entity number. Let's just do first name here, last name here, entity number, email, mobile. Okay, so then we are missing, so password is there and all of them are there now, right? So we have username. We need username. So username will be just here before password. So let's put password over there. We put username here, right? Username and password, right? So this will be username. So this is preferred username. Then we'll just say username, right? All right. So now we have the username and we have the password. And just to make sure that our front end is proper, we're gonna add the confirm password on the front end side. We don't want to forget about that. Confirm password and this password, and we want to make sure the placeholder is that. Right, so save this. And that's it. So these are the fields that we have. Here on the button on click, which is waiting for a register click. So let's go to register and see that. Right, so this is basically how it looks like. We are going to change all of this logic because we're definitely not going to be doing all of this crap. We are not doing any of this. So we are getting rid of everything here. So first things first, let's sort out our form group. Our form group is not that, it's register form group, right? So let's go to our form group. Let's see what we have. So our form group has name, email, password, which is not right. So we want to say first name, right? First name, type here, copy, paste. First name, last name, entity number, and let's see what else we got. We have first name, last name, entity number, email, mobile. So then we have email, then we have mobile just here. So we have mobile. So our form group looks good. And then after mobile, we have username, password, confirm password. So mobile, then username. and we have confirm password. Right. So now that looks good. We have our form group, which has all our form controls, just like that. So that looks good. Now we want to go and set the data for that. So before we do that, we need a interface for that. Our interface, we are just going to create a new file here, and we're going to call it registration request, just like that. And then we're going to export class registration request. Right. And then we are going to have all of those fields. So we're going to have, now we need to align these fields just like that. So when our first name, which is a string, we're going to have last name, which is a string. We're going to have username. We're going to have entity number, which is a string. We're going to have email, mobile. Let's just do email. And then we're going to have mobile string. Then we're going to have username and password. So username, password, just like that. This will be string. So this is fine, just like that. And then we are going to add our constructor, and we are basically going to do same thing. Right, so now we are going to populate these fields. First name, username, and is not password. Final one, right. Alright, so now this is basically our registration request, so we can close that. Then we can come back to our register here. So we want to get rid of this. We want to say request is basically registration request, just like that. So let me see, registration request. that. Okay, not a biggie. Alright, so that is fine. So then now fix it up. Right, so I just forgot to like clearly define it as a TS file. That's it. So now it's picking it up. So we have the import for registration request. Then we can continue. Let's say new registration request, and we pass in all of those fields. So we want to say register form group dot get first name, value. So I'm just gonna copy this one, copy, just close this. I'm just gonna do it this way. Comma. And then I'm just gonna rename these ones. So that is first name. So we have last name. Then we have entity number. Then we have email. Then we have mobile. Then we have username. Then we have password, right? So now we have the data right here. This is how it's going to look like. But before that, remember, we have password and confirm password. So we need to check if password is not equal to confirm password, is not equal to confirm password, we want to console.log. When I add a toast here, so do let's do right. So we're gonna put that for now, and then what we want to do is, let's just say return. Right. We don't want to continue. This is then it's not the same, then just console that, and that's fine. Right, and then now we have form group is valid, so we want to say, we don't want to console this. We want to say now this user registration, and we want to pass in the request over here. So when I say request, then the data, console output data. That's fine. We console output the data, not a problem. Let's go to user register, then let's see what we got. So we're gonna just rename this to request, and we're going to rename this to registration request, just like that. Then we are doing a HTTP post. The API that we want to call is user register, like that. So then here we're going to pass in the request. And of course, we do want to take this to promise, and then we want to take the results, right? Okay, and then we say response, which can be anything really. And we want to pipe this, and we want to say return response data. Could be anything really. So we're just taking the data as it, then we return that, and we want to make sure that we do catch the exception over there. So we're doing that like that. So basically that is what we got, and I don't see any issues here. Let me just that looks fine, that looks fine, that looks fine. Let's get rid of this. That's fine. So now, because we have made this, we are not supposed to subscribe. So now we are just going to get the data as is from that. It did pipe the data, we got the data. So what is the issue? Let me see. Oh, we are not returning the, we need to return this. Yes, we need to return that, and now it needs to subscribe to this guy. So yeah, now it looks good. Basically now it has the data that we need, so that looks good. And let's see. So registration is fine. Then now we'll just need to add the toast over there. So if you're looking for that, we just come to Ionic right here, and we say UI components, and we want to add a toast, which is basically just a quick pop-up, nothing hectic. So let's go and take a toast. Should be here, right? Should be here, right? Right. So if you click on that, then you get a toast. This toast will disappear in 5 seconds, just like that. So that's what we basically want. So our toast is basically that, and we want to make sure that we populate the data. So we want to do that one, and now it will want us to add more components and add a function to actually take the toast. But yeah, let's do it anyway. Over here, right? So it's open, it's toast open. The add is going to be false. Set open false, and that is basically fine. Let me just make it 4. That is cool. Save this. So now when we go here, we need to create two things. We need to create a boolean variable just like this one. We want to say is toast open. That is the beginning. Then the next thing is this is change, so I want to add another one here. What set open, right? So the set open, pretty sure they defined it here. So let's just use the set open. Copy that, then just put it in here, just after that. So that is fine. Is open. Is toast open, is open, is toast open, is open. Alright, cool. So that looks fine. Then we toast message. Let me just do so set open. Basically now set open, we are going to put the set open right here. But now look, set open. Just set that to true. Save this. But as we set that to true, we want to say now we're going to add something interesting here. We're going to add toast message, which is going to be let's just say welcome to Spring Bank, like that. So that is fine. And then we are going to bind the toast message to the actual message. So we're gonna set open here to true, but before we do that, we want to say this dot toast message equals to, let's just say confirm password is not the same as the password you provided. Right. So that's that. Then we come back here and we change this guy to message. Right. Okay. So now when you come back here, you should basically be able to come here, say sign up. So now this is how our sign up looks like. Obviously, look like we have a lot of things in our sign up page. So we're gonna say new subscriber, or let's just say Jack Doe JD 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then let's say Jack dot Doe 1 2 3 4 5 6 at zipcode.com. Then we say +4 username, let's just say Jack Doe 123, and then password is going to be QWERTY12. Then here we're going to put some craziest password. Confirm password is not the same as password you provided. That works. That works. And it doesn't call me. So then we can say QWERTY12. Then we say sign up. Now we are getting an error from our API, right? But now that we're getting an error from our API, look how nice the toast is going to look. We're going to come back here and say set console.log data. Let's see, what do we have in the data? So response.data, so that is coming back. Why would this be an issue? Let me see. So we got the data and got the response like that, and then you say return the response, and then what is wrong with the response? Because it's looking fine. We got a validation. Let me console.log response.data. Let me see. This is a service exception, and it just gave me an object, which is not really helpful to me, because when I throw the exception, I do have a message. So let's check this again. I'm gonna say Jack Doe. Then I'm gonna say the entity is JD12346. I'm gonna say Jack Doe 12346. It's right. Then username JD12346. And the password is QWERTY12. QWERTY12 sign up. Alright. It doesn't even have the stuff that I want. But I did call the API. Wait. Username is that, password is that. Entity number. Let me see, entity number. I should be getting a validation exception. Which is my validation exception from the API? The username already exists. Yes. So if it is an exception, it should be that. So it shouldn't even be an object. Okay, let me do this because my API register same API request registration request. This looks good. Am I missing anything here? Okay, let me change the return type here to a promise of that. Not that, man. The method itself, the return type here to be promise of any, like that. Because here I'm returning the data. I don't even want the entire object. Okay, let me put a debugger here. I don't think it's even getting to that. It's failing at this point here, which is what we have. Let me send this through and check it out. Sign up. Let's do JWT entity 123. Let's say JWT 3 at zipcode.com. Then do last time, let's see why is it not username JWT 3. Let's say let's just do QWERTY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do QWERTY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500 internal server error. Let's check here. So, what am I missing here? Let me see. Because this is a post, then to a promise, then we say response. Any, let me just say, just me, give it a type of any here. Then I say, that's the response to promise, so then response. Put a debugger response the data. It looks fine. And now let's go to this guy, data, any console data. Right, this looks good. I don't get why no issue. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's enter the email, let's enter the mobile, and then let's enter username, say JWT 12397. Right, then we're gonna say QWERTY 12397. Say QWERTY. Then we're gonna test this, so that is fine. 123. Right. So let's click on sign up. The QWERTY 123. Right. Sign up, and we get that again. Let's put a debugger here. Let's see what is going on. Sign up. Right, so now you hit that. The request entity number, first name, last name. Here's our problem. Holy crap. Let's go and sort this guy out ASAP. Let's see. What are we setting here? Entity number. We have first name, last name. Holy crap. I was setting crazy stuff here. Entity number. This is how I define my controllers. See why it's very important to check your variables and your definitions. Very, very important. Okay. So now those are fine. Proceed to reload. I'm busy sending the API now, and it's like, dude, this thing is not working. And let me just do check. Do JD 12397. Let's do check. Body 12397 at savecode.com, and let's see. Right, and then let's do the number JD12397, username, and this username, let's just say JWT12397, then QWERTY 12397, QWERTY 12397. Right, so let's say sign up. Now let's check the request. Boom, 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 boom. Email. So now we have email, entity number, first name, last name, mobile, password, username. Boom. That looks good. Looks like something that we want to do. Looks like something that we want to do. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? User successfully created. So we want our toast here. So we do not want any other thing. We want our toast here, and we want to say toast message will be data. Save this, go back, because this is what we want. So now that we've created our user and we want to say Jack D 123.987 QWERTY 123.987. Let's log in. I don't think our user is. What was our username? JD. Now I have to check database. Where's the database? Well, you did disconnect, but now we want to connect back. Right? Duh. Let's see. Ah, JD, yes, just like that. JD 123.987. Yes. Oh, that's entity now. This is JWT 123.987. Right. Our login works. Our login works. Well, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. So as you can see, this is hard-coded. So now, if I go back, let me just sign out here. Sign out, and then if I go back, if I go to that QWERTY 123.987, if I say authenticate, I'll get a token with those credentials. Then if I set the token here and save the token, what the heck? Something that I'm missing here. Save. Yes, here. Save, right. Then if I go to profile, say enter, now I'm gonna get the profile of the user. So get the profile, entity number, first name, last name, email, and mobile. So basically that's what we have. And let's see. So we saw our data going back to the DB. Let's do one last one. Let's call it subscriber YouTube. Then we say SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna say SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's coach.com. I'm gonna say right. Then we're gonna say SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and password is SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So we say sign up, and now we can remove our debugger and close this file, and we can basically continue. And also we need to remove this debugger here. Say continue, and say we just need to redirect over there. So now let's log in. SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Password SY 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Ha! Registration, login, sorted as expected. So now let's come back to this, and we have our toast over there. Let's see, what else do we need on the service? We want to get rid of this, right? So that looks good. Looks good. So registration and login, essentially that's what it looks like. That's what we have achieved. We got to see how we can log in, register, and authenticate our users. So I don't want to stretch it and make it so long. Essentially, this is what we want. This is what we have achieved. And there's a whole lot more that is going to come with these tutorials or with this series. So please do watch out for more um, videos that will be coming up in the channel. So for now, I'm happy that we've achieved our goal and we got to see some of the issues that you can come up or come across when you are developing your application. You saw the variable naming. That is very important to know that you're getting the right data and you're passing it across to your API so that everything works and it's tied together as expected. So we did add a validation here, which is a front-end validation, and we make sure that before anything, before we set any variable, before we process any data or run a transaction or anything like that, we are able to validate first before wasting the server's time to process anything. So let's validate, make sure that everything is looking good. So here I should have actually um, put everything in here. I should have put everything in here to make sure that the form is validated before I do everything else. So I want to make sure the form is valid, any field that is required is there, any email that is not in email syntax is validated properly. So all of those will be caught in this check here, and then we'll be able to run that validation. And once both of these validations have passed, then we continue to do our business logic right here. So this is where we ended. For now, I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that it helps you understand the API integration, a login flow, how to get a JWT token, how to set the token um, in your session, cookie or local storage, basically for a similar logic. Then the next thing that is coming up, or what we'll be looking at in the next video, it will be interceptors, HTTP interceptors. So with those, we want to make sure that the user is not only authenticated, but it's also authorized. And we want to make sure that every request that we send to the server, it goes with the JWT token because we've already logged in, and our requests need to be authenticated. So we will see interceptors in action in the next video, and please do stay tuned and see you on the next one. For now, cheers.